House just passed a crazy resolution remembering Charlie Kirk. I have a Fox News clip I'll play in a second. But it was a 5-page resolution introduced by Mike Johnson, co-sponsored by 165 other Republicans. No Democrats sponsored it. It was basically a praise document for Charlie Kirk. Not just condemning political violence, that would have been fine. But it called him a courageous American patriot who sought to elevate truth, foster understanding, and strengthen the Republic. If you are a Democrat, why are you voting for this? Charlie Kirk did none of the above. And I don't have to go through why that is. Courageous American patriot. Someone who hinges every opinion on Donald Trump, even when he disagreed with him, like with Iran. He changed his opinions for Donald Trump. How can you call that truth? A courageous American patriot who bussed people to the Capitol so that they could delay the certification of the vote so Trump could try and defraud the entire electoral process again. Right? This is the kind of stuff that Charlie Kirk was pushing. Here's the Fox News clip.
Charlie Kirk's assassination was a horrific and vile attack. The majority proceeded with a resolution that brings great pain to the millions of Americans who endured segregation, Jim Crow, and the legacy of bigotry today. His rhetoric and beliefs were ignorant, uneducated, and sought to disenfranchise millions of Americans.
Let's bring in David Avella, GOPAC chairman, and Michael LaRosa, Democrat strategist and former press secretary to Jill Biden. Thanks to both of you for being here. David, to you first, what is your reaction to what you just heard from her on the House floor?
Well, what the Congresswoman is suggesting, Sandra, is that no one should get a resolution before Congress that...
That is not what she's suggesting at all. She's suggesting that Charlie Kirk was a uniquely horrible human being. Either profoundly stupid or consciously ignorant of blatant facts. Like the last major thing he did before he went out, right? Unfortunately. He hopped on that whole Obama-Clinton lawfare, Tulsi Gabbard's absurd statements, the craziest thing I've ever seen out of the government. And I've read the source material. They just want more political conflict. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. Saying this guy cared about the truth is crazy. There are people who very much care about the truth. On the right. I think that Douglas Murray cares about the truth. He's on the right. I think Ben Shapiro, besides Israel, cares about the truth. There's something about Charlie Kirk with the crazy things that he said. Even Ben Shapiro could qualify the Obama-Clinton stuff by saying all these charges are going to be thrown out the window because they have no base to them. Charlie Kirk was like, we need to go after these people. Charlie Kirk would say stuff like, we have to occupy every major American city until there's no crime. Illegally. As if that's something you can do. I mean, that's just a crazy thing to say that you can have no House resolutions saying someone is a good person. Just because you can't have one for Charlie Kirk.
Praises their life or certainly condemns their death. It's unfortunate that she's chosen to make a political stand on the floor of the House when it's simply trying to honor someone who was killed in cold blood.
I mean, do you think there will be any condemnation from her colleagues, her Democrat colleagues on that, David?
Probably not the 56 that voted with her, and probably not even from those House Democrats who did vote for it, it's unfortunate, but America will survive despite her hateful rhetoric.
All right, she should have made political points while speaking for the House because it was a political document. It affirmed, it essentially said that Charlie Kirk had good politics, that he was a good American patriot that elevated truth, that any part of the MAGA movement elevates truth. That is a lie. I do not know why anyone voted for this who is a registered Democrat. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And the idea that this is hateful. I try not to make like moral judgments, but it's a lot of the stuff Charlie Kirk has said is pretty categorically hateful. Like especially about transgender people, about Palestinians in the past, although he was turning on that in the month before he died, which was a very good thing, by the way, if you haven't seen his movement on that policy. And I think it has coincided with Trump's frustration with Netanyahu and his own movement too. away from making Gaza a Riviera. But let's see what they say now.
As far as AOC, she went on the House floor. I'll play this out. Here's how she describes who she thinks Charlie Kirk was. Listen.
We should be clear about who Charlie Kirk was. A man who believed that the Civil Rights Act that granted Black Americans the right to vote was a mistake. Who, after the violent attack on Paul Pelosi, claimed that, quote, some amazing patriot, unquote, should bail out his brutal assailant. And accused Jews of controlling, quote, not just the colleges, it's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it, unquote.
So, I mean, Michael, was this necessary? Why did she go this direction?
Was it necessary? If you're talking about someone, they didn't even deny it, by the way. Charlie Kirk's statements at the Paul Pelosi, after the Paul Pelosi attack, immediately should just be a red flag to anyone who's saying that he was any kind of bulwark against political violence and how we should all be like kumbayaing after he dies. It's like, no. If he was some kind of dove, some kind of political peace, someone who really was about that stuff, a true pacifist, then I would say, okay, that was a very good part of him. That's part of his legacy. We should remember that. But that's not who he was. You think about these people, these public figures, by how they affected the public and how they reached you on their platforms. It's not necessarily imperative that we first remember his personal life. No, he was a public figure. He was a very, very big public figure. So we remember him by how he affected the public, how he affected the political discourse. And none of that is positive. And when you have a document that is very political, as I mentioned, saying he uplifted truth, right? I don't know how true AOC statements were there about the Civil Rights Act. To me, Charlie Kirk's problem hasn't been anti-Black racism. It's just been unlawfulness. It's been anti-American, just shilling for a horrid, beyond words, awful administration, first and second term, that obviously I can go into for hours on end. That is why I don't like Charlie Kirk. I don't know what he said about the Civil Rights Act. But they can't even deny it on Fox News, that he said those things. He defends the president who is pro-political violence. He did not call for the political violence to stop. He didn't say we should all calm down, right? Trump didn't say we should all calm down. He wanted to turn the temperature up. That's what he would have wanted. And he would be right next to every MAGA person doing the exact same thing. Let's see how they end it.
And by the way, the dozens of Democrats that voted against the resolution to honor Charlie Kirk, 95 yes votes. This is the tally, okay? 38 present, 22 didn't vote. What's going on here?
I don't know. I don't think she regrets it. I think this is how she feels. I think, unfortunately, it's probably a reflection of how a broad base of Democrats do feel about Mr. Kirk. I feel like that was a really insensitive time to do it, and somewhat unseemly to go to the House at this time to do that. There'll be plenty of time to...
No. I think as soon as these public figures die, we should not, the thing in the forefront of our mind should not be how sad we are that they have decomposed as a human being. That is obviously a part of it, and it's unfortunate, but the first thing on our mind should be what they were as public figures. This all reminds me of a video that Ben Shapiro made after Jimmy Carter died. The day after he died, he made a slanderous video against Jimmy Carter. Full of factual inaccuracies. This is before I had a YouTube channel, but it was just a horrible video obfuscating Jimmy Carter's presidency, blaming him for price controls, which he took away, blaming him for inflation, which he inherited from the Iranian Revolution, not mentioning the Camp David peace accords that he made between Egypt and Israel, not mentioning his human rights record, not mentioning his helpful deregulation in some sectors, not mentioning the many departments he introduced that are very important in today's modern society. Like this guy was not a bad guy. And the only reason Ben Shapiro made that video is because Jimmy Carter spoke to Hamas once in 2000s, asked them to moderate, asked them to be a political party, and they said no. And so then now Jimmy Carter's just part of Hamas, I guess. So, and I have no problem with that video. I'm just saying, if that's your standard, that we should be talking about like loved ones and loss for a week after someone dies, like, no.